Hey, when will I be YouTube famous? I don't know. Probably never. However, this, as you've no doubt realised already, is a little bit of a different film from me today. I was inspired by Nikkie Tutorial's Power of Makeup to do a look where you see how I look made up versus how I feel inside living with chronic pain. Because what you see isn't always what you get. So if you want to find out the difference between how I look and how I feel, then my friend, you are in precisely the right place. Grab a drink, grab a snack, put your feet up, and enjoy. Because here it comes. Hey, welcome back from the intro. Okay, probably in the intro, because I think what I'm going to do is have a wig on to cover this half of my face. Because I get a fair amount of comments from people saying, what is fibro? What are the symptoms? What things do you struggle from? And I also get people that have got fibro saying, it was interesting to hear you say that you have XYZ because I have that too and didn't realise that could be fibro related. So, for some reason, YouTube have been showing me really old films in my suggested feed just recently. And one of the films that popped up was the Nikkie Tutorial's Power of Makeup, where she made up one half of her face and left the other half plain or natural to show just how different we look with makeup on. And I thought, one of the biggest problems with fibro is that it's a hidden illness, because a lot of the symptoms are internal, you don't see them. Things like sorry, that was my throat growling at you. Like fibro fog, where you can be in the middle of a conversation and all of a sudden your brain turns to mush and you have no idea what it was you're about to say. To the point that I've forgotten what makeup products are called. It's like I was doing makeup the other day and I said about bring it under, and I couldn't remember the name. Tear duct. Oh, if you're wondering why I had nails for a couple of films and now I haven't, it's because I knew I was going to be mucking about with a wig and didn't want to ping them off and damage my nails, so I took them off so that when I'm putting this wig on I don't damage my natural nails. That's something else. Your brain kind of leaps from one thing to another, and it's very difficult to actually stay on track with what you want to say. Sleep, or lack thereof. I'm lucky if I get 3 hours a night. But that's not 3 consecutive hours, that's 20 minutes here, 45 minutes there, another 5 minutes here, because I'll move in bed, or Chris will move in bed, and I'll get a sudden sharp stabbing pain which wakes me up. Or I wake up feeling nauseated, sometimes through pain, sometimes through unrelated dizziness because I've got quite low blood pressure anyway, but I'm laying down in bed, so there's no reason for me to go dizzy. No, I haven't got vertigo. I have checked that with the GP. But the biggest thing is the pain. The best way to describe fibro to people who don't know what it feels like is it feels like every muscle in your body has just taken a beating. When you look at your skin, you think, why am I not showing bruises everywhere from the amount of pain that I'm feeling? Surely there should be something external to show the level of pain that I'm internally feeling. I do sometimes get swelling, my hands and my feet swell up and my legs swell up, which can make it extremely painful and difficult to get shoes on. There are some days I cannot put shoes on because even something as light as a sheet touching my skin hurts. I get a hypersensitivity where you doing that hurts like hell. My calves, particularly my right calf, constantly feels like, okay, imagine you've got really bad sunburn, then you've taken a tumble and you've got gravel rash where that sunburn is, and then when someone touches you they're rubbing a cheese grater on it. That's how my legs feel, or my calf feels, pretty much every day. Just having, I've got one of these shower heads where you can adjust from like almost like a mist through to a jet, and I have to put it on mist for that leg because just having water land on it hurts. At the moment where I'm not moving around as much and I'm not going out because of obviously the lockdown restrictions, I've noticed that my mobility has got worse. I now cannot get in and out of the car without help because the pain in my right hip has got so bad I physically cannot lift my leg into the car. I get super dry, flaky skin, which no matter how much I moisturise, either has a silvery grey look, or if it's been dry for some time, knees and elbows are the worst for this, the skin's dead, so it looks dirty, it looks like I haven't washed. Even when I'm fresh out of the shower, it looks like I haven't washed. My eyes stream, whether it's hay fever season or not. Or alternatively, they can go super dry, so I find it very difficult now. I used to wear contact lenses all the time, I now find that very difficult. I tend to only wear contacts now if we're going out for the evening to a karaoke, so I can make sure I can read the words on the screen without getting too hot with having glasses on. But whereas before I used to wear the all day or night ones where you'd put them in at the beginning of the month, leave them in for 28 days, take them out, give your eye 24 hours off, and then put a fresh one in because you could sleep in them, the hydrogels. Anything more than about 4 or 5 hours of a contact lens in my eye now feels dry, feels prickly, feels like I've got something in my eye all the time. When I'm blending shadows on my eye, even with the softest brushes, it feels like wire brushes across my skin, which is why if there is a palette which takes a bit more blending, you won't find me using it because it just hurts too much. And I thought it would be interesting to do my makeup one side as I would normally do, and then to maybe try and show on the opposite side how I'm actually feeling. This may or may not work because I'm not an expert when it comes to special effects makeup. I'm not an expert when it comes to doing bruises and things, but I will do my best to recreate for you on this side how I'm actually feeling. And yes, I'm trying to smother yawns while I'm talking to you. This is energy drink. I've already had 2 cups of coffee. But last night was one of those nights where I didn't sleep at all. Not one wink. So, this is still a teaching channel. So, if I go too slowly for you, there's a speed widget up there somewhere, feel free to use it. I will insert some information in just a moment. I'll insert a clip where I discuss the difference between deep set and hooded lids. It's something that I've noticed a very long time ago, and then I've mentioned probably for over a year and a half now on my channel. A lot of people mistake deep set eyes for hooded lids because they have similar problems. But the workaround for the different type of eyes are very different. So when I insert the clip, if you've not seen it before, I come in very tight to my eyes. So please don't be too shocked and scream when it suddenly goes boom up close. But I will insert that clip here, and then once that's done, I'll be back to start applying makeup on this eye. Okay? Here's your clip. Now, my eyes have this primer on it. This is the Crow and Pebble primer in Blank Page Cotton. I do have a discount code for this. It is not affiliated, I don't earn money from it, but if you use my code, you save, I think it's 15%, and I earn pebbles that I can offset against future purchases from them. The reason I love the Crow and Pebble primer is because it goes on like a cream, but it has a powdery finish. So unlike when you use a concealer or like a MAC paint pot, for example, you have the trade-off between, do I set it so I can blend easily, or do I leave it tacky so that I get the full impact of colour? You don't have that trade-off with this. You can blend on it instantly and you don't lose any of the colour. Now she does 6 different shades of this at the moment. White is the lightest, the deepest 2 are a chocolate brown and a black. Then there are 3 different skin tone shades as well, so you should be able to find one that will work for you. I apply this with a flat brush, just a very light layer, and then I buff it over with a fluffy blending brush to take any excess off and to make sure I've got a nice even layer across the eye. Now, I've got deep set eyes, so I get the same issues that people with hooded lids get. I get transference of colour onto the upper lid. If I'm cutting my crease, I have to cut onto the upper lid, not just through the socket. And if I'm using glitter, even with glitter glue, I get a bare patch in the middle. Because people with hooded lids get the same symptoms as people with deep set eyes, I see a lot of people with deep set eyes thinking they have hooded lids when they don't. So they follow the guidelines for hooded lids and wonder why their eyes still don't look right. So I'm going to explain very easily for you how to tell the difference and what the two workarounds are. With my brows relaxed and looking straight forward, you can see all of my mobile lid from inner to outer corner. You can't see a lot of it, but you can see it. So I haven't got hooded lids. It's only if this upper lid comes down and completely covers part or all of the mobile lid that you have a full or a half hooded lid, or what's known as a mono or an Asian eye. I'm going to demonstrate on this eye deep set eyes because this is the eye that I'm blind in, so I'll stay on screen and in focus. If I cover the visible mobile lid and close my eye, you can see I've got as much, if not more, lid that tucks back away out of sight. And if I do the same on the top lid, the static lid, you can see I've got about the same amount of lid again that tucks back away out of sight when the eye's open. And it's those two bits of lid rubbing together that give me the same issues that hooded lids get. So, what are the workarounds? If you have hooded lids, get a brush, something like this, or a pencil brush, sketch out on your static lid where you want your new crease to fall. Now obviously that's going to reduce the space between the crease and the brow, so just use smaller blending brushes, or if necessary take the colour right up to the brow instead of leaving a gap. If you have deep set eyes like myself, all we need to do when we're putting the colour through the crease, which 9 times out of 10 will be the deepest colour that we're using, just sit back, relax your brows and make sure you brought it up high enough that you can see it when your eyes are open. So, two very different workarounds for two very different types of lids, but that have very similar issues. Hey, I'm back. Right, I'm going to use the Be Perfect Stacey Marie Carnival palette, the first one, the smaller one of the two, which only has the 2 highlighters at the side, not the 3. And I'm going to start by going in. Do you know what? I feel like doing a tealy minty one today. So I'm going to start off by dipping into Envy. I'm using one of the brushes that I got from Oh My Glitter in one of their mystery boxes. See what I mean? Brain's going already. Hold the brush right at the end, so I put as little pressure on the lid as possible. And starting down here, I'm just going to start slowly blending this in. Little circular movements going in this direction towards the nose, bit of a bounce at the middle, and then reverse the direction when I come back out. Now, why do I do this? Well, I will be 46 in a week's time. I've lost over 14 stone, that's over £200. So the skin on my eyelids moves, and by doing circular movements like this, you are gently moving the skin around. Where this had been in the box and it's gone slanted, I'm finding it difficult to blend. I'm just going to grab a different brush. I'll grab one of the Do Colour brushes instead. I just need to give that a bit of a wash and straighten the bristles out, I think. Yeah, by doing circular movements, you're gently moving the skin of the eyelid around. So you're making sure you don't get any gaps when you're applying the shadow. It's going to be very strange just doing the one eye today, because I'm so used to doing both of them when I talk to you. But this is absolutely, it works much better than, you can combine it with the windscreen wiper, but the circular movement blends the edges out nicer, blends colours together easier, and helps prevent any gapping that you are likely to see. I've got a clean microfiber cloth here that I'm just going to clean that brush off with. I used to use colour switches, but I found them too harsh on the brushes, especially if you were using natural hair. I mean, this is synthetic, but it killed one of my natural hair brushes, which I wasn't very happy with. Right, now I'm going to dip into Mint using the same brush, and I'm just going to blend the edge all the way along with this lighter shade. Leaving a bit of a gap at the top there to do my brow highlight. And just bring this outer corner up just fractionally more. I like this palette. I don't see why they needed to produce the second one that was so huge though. I much prefer smaller palettes. I mean, this is about as large as I want to go in terms of palettes. I think it makes life much easier. I'm just going to dip back into Envy just to deepen that back up there. I much prefer smaller palettes. I think it makes life easy, especially in terms of deciding what look you're going to do, because if you get presented with all these colours, you're like, oh my goodness, I don't know which look to do today. That's really pretty. Right, let's grab a slightly smaller, I'm going to grab a pencil brush, I think. And I'm going to go into Mood, which is a navy blue with almost a grey shift to it. I'm going to pop some of this on the outer edge, just buff it a little bit. A little bit of a circular movement just through that crease there. Obviously, if you've had to move your crease, this is the point that you follow your created line. Just going to windscreen wiper through that bit for a moment. And then put some of this into the inner corner, and then very gently link the two sides together, like so. Super pretty. And you can see, even though that was a navy, because it's blended next to the turquoise, it looks more like sorry, is my phone going? It looks more like a deep green. Right, I'm just going to grab a Morphe M321. And I'm going to go into Breezy, which is a shimmer. I'm just going to pop this right in the middle there to give us a nice little spotlight eye. And because my eyes are particularly watery today, I've not actually sprayed this. I'm just going to use it dry instead. And then using the tips of the bristles, gently blend it into the deeper matte either side. How pretty is that? Right, I'm going to pause you while I go and pop some foundation on. I'll be back to finish this eye off and then we'll start doing this one. Now, I'm going to have to wait for the next time I press record in order to speak to you, but for you, my darlings, it's going to be absolutely instant. So I'll see you right now. Right, I am back. You can probably see I've only done foundation on one side of my face. I'm just about to do my soap brows. I've on this brow, if you know what that means, with the soap. And I'm just going to go in with, I think, a little bit of Envy. And I'm going to use this to just colour the brow. I used to use pomades, but I had a lot of people commenting that they were finding it difficult because Revolution don't seem to stock the coloured pomades anymore, which is really frustrating. Because obviously with the pomade you can skip the soap bit because the pomade kind of holds your brows in place for you. It's almost like you're having to do double the work because you're having to soap them and then colour them, kind of thing. But this way you do get an absolute exact match to the colour on your eye, because quite clearly you're using exactly the same one. Right, let's finish this eye off. So I'm going with this flat topped brush and I'm going to dip into Mood, which is the deep blue that we used. And I'm just going to run that along the lower lash line like so. You can see that really does pull green where you've got green on the eye, but I have used it with blues and it looks blue. So it's quite a useful shade in this palette. I'm just going to dip into Mint. This is the brush from the Tarte Graveyard Girl palette. I love it because it's flat topped but it's chunky. But you can use a smudger brush or a densely packed blender. This happens to be my favourite one. Just buff that lower lash line out like so. And then this is a cheap lip brush. I'm actually going to go into one of the eyeshadow shades in here called Moony to do the inner corner, because I want that super bright and shiny. Bring that underneath the tear duct and blend it in to the colours that I've done under my eye. And then using the same brush, I'm going to go into the highlight called Saint, which is the lighter of the two, and just run that along under the brow. Right, that was the front eye. Let's zoom you out fractionally so you can see more of this part of the eye as well. Right, let's grab me a. Do you know what? I might actually go in with an M321, and I'm going to initially go into shade Guilty, which is like a burgundy colour, because this eye feels very sore today. And almost as if it should be bruised. So I'm putting some shadows on, which hopefully I can blend to look like a bruise. I'm going to go into Shuffle next, which is like a mustardy yellow. Use this to, because as I was saying, blending this eye out really hurts. The skin on that side now is super tender. That is why, where the first brush I was using was slightly curved and wasn't blending out as seamlessly as I wanted it to, I changed it for a brush that was straight, because I knew it was going to take longer to do if I kept using that same brush, and I knew it would cause me an awful lot of pain. I'm just going to dip into Wasted, which is a purple. So we can add some deeper sectioning to this bruising. Because there's two sections on my eye, just at the top here and just here, where I struggle because I can get quite dry skin just in those two places. So I find I have to blend a little bit harder, which of course hurts a little bit more. And I'll go into the Mint and add a little bit of nice green bruising into the whole effect. And then maybe add a little bit of, let's stick some Rowdy on there, which is a deeper brown. See if we can get this the sort of mottled effect that a bruise would have. And I'm just going to grab a cotton puff that's clean and just very gently sort of buff those colours together to try and show you how it feels in terms of being a bruise, basically. My under eye is quite painful, so I'll stick a little bit of pink in here, because to make it look like I've been rubbing it all night, and to show the irritation from the hay fever. Then I'm going to grab a little bit of basic and just deepen up this dark circle with a little bit of rowdy. As I said, I didn't sleep at all last night. Not one bit. Back in with the clean cotton pad just to buff that out gently. See if we can add a little bit of purple into that as well, because I do get really quite purpley under here. I'm just going to go into my Cleona Cosmetics and I'm going to go into Koala. This was part of the triple pigment set they released back at the beginning of the year, where any profit made from it they were sending down to help the Australian wildfire. Do we remember that before the plague hit us? And again, just blend that all together, just to give the indication that I've really not slept much the last few nights, if at all. Right, let's zoom you out a little further. Grab one of my, I need a smaller one than that. I've got liner brushes over here, and I'm looking for a tiny one. There we go. This is size 5.0. Probably can't really see that very well. I'm just going to grab my Morphe gel liner in Stargazer. Actually, I'm probably better zooming you back in for this bit. I'm just going to get some of this to give the impression of scarring. Because there are times that it does feel that my face has been cut almost. Just going to wipe this off on that little cotton pad and then grab a red lip gloss. This is the Revolution Vinyl Cherry in Cherry Bomb. Because there are times it does feel as if there should be blood trickling down my skin. Because of the amount of pain I'm experiencing. And how painful it is some days just to apply makeup. That's why I've not put foundation on this other side of my face, so that it leaves it more mottled, shall we say, less perfectly, the way that we always take all the colour out with foundation and concealer and then put it back in with bronzer and blush. Okay, now this is a little mini sponge. This is a little embroidery hoop that I've stretched fishnet tight in to put here. And I'm going to go into Rowdy and pop some of this on. And then go into Saint, which is the highlight, and put some of that over the top. Because as I was saying, my skin gets super dry. I mean, I've always had very dry skin. As a baby in the hospital, they had to put mittens on my hands and feet because mittens on my hand, gloves on my feet because my skin was so flaky. And my grandfather had ichthyosis, which is like where your skin goes snake-like and scaly, and that's what I get, unfortunately. And it can leave the skin looking dirty because it's dead skin that's not sloughing off. That's what this is. This is, most people, when you have your skin renews itself and you slough off skin cells every day. That's what most of the dust is in your mattress, is skin cells. But with ichthyosis, you don't lose the skin cells. They still die off, but they don't flake off. And if you try to sort of flake them off with like a exfoliator, you can end up with your skin bleeding. So I wanted to just kind of emphasise down here. Let's put a bit more of that Rowdy on. Just wanted to emphasise that it can be very, very frustrating when you've just got out of the shower, you've put your moisturiser on and you look down and your skin still looks as if you've not actually washed. That's annoying and frustrating. And actually humiliating, because it makes you feel like you can't wear. I get it particularly around my ankles and my knees, on my legs and my elbows, on my arms. And it's horrible because you feel like you can't, you have to wear long trousers to cover it up all the time, because otherwise people are going to think that you're just dirty, and you know, which is not good. I'm just going to pop some lipstick on one half of my lips. This is a, well, obviously it's meant to be a knockoff of the Pat McGrath with the lips on it. This is the Kiss Proof. I think I got it from AliExpress or somewhere similar. And then, where's my little brush back? It can leave you with very, very dry lips, so they crack. No matter how much moisturiser you use. No matter how many times you exfoliate, or how much lip salve you use. And yes, it means your lip can bleed too. I also get cracking at the corner of my mouth just there. And another one of the symptoms with fibro is you'll see me do this a lot, because I get a super itchy nose. But the problem with that is if you irritate your nose too much, guess what happens? You end up with a nosebleed. So, if you see someone getting out of a car in a disabled bay and they've got makeup on and they don't appear to be in too much pain, walking reasonably well, and you feel that you need to go and confront them, or if you see someone coming out of the disabled loo who doesn't have a stick or a wheelchair, how do you know they haven't got Crohn's? How do you know they haven't got a colostomy bag? How do you know they haven't got IBS where they have to go right now? And that was the only free toilet. You don't. So the last thing anyone should be doing is judging a situation that you have no clue of. Because someone could look like this. It could be feeling like this. And they've made the effort. They've got up. It's taken all their energy to shower. They've had to sit for a good probably half hour after they've showered just with a towel around them because they haven't got the energy to physically get dressed yet without help. Then they get dressed, and even the lightest of clothing. If you see someone out when it's freezing cold and they're wearing quite light summery trousers and a loose top and a light cardigan and no coat, and you're thinking, well, that's a bit bloody pathetic, what are they doing that for? It could be that clothing any heavier than that hurts. There's times that I've wanted to go out and haven't been able to, because just putting trousers on hurts the skin on my legs so much. I wouldn't be safe to drive. And hubby hasn't got a licence yet. Well, he's got a forklift licence, but anyway, I am going to do something with my hair, and I'll be back with my final thoughts. Decided to bung this on because it will be so much easier to hide this side of the face for the intro. But this is my power of makeup. Bit of a twist on the version that Nikkie's tutorials did, because for me this isn't how I look without makeup and how I look with makeup. This is how I feel internally, with or without makeup on, every day. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year. I don't ever get a day or night that I'm not in pain. Ever. But I still get up and I still film for you. Some days getting up and filming is the only thing that gets me out of bed in the morning. Knowing that I'd committed to doing or to trying to do 3 films a week on my channel. And it's been increasingly difficult at the moment with the whole lager-lurgy nonsense that's going on around the world. Because what little contact I had with people, the postie would chat, person delivering my meds would chat, next door neighbours would, stand and have a chat. They don't do that now. The neighbour doesn't, because she works at the hospital and she's worried about, being asymptomatic and bringing something home and me catching it, because she knows that I'm, at risk with all the other issues that I have health-wise. Because she knows this is how I feel, even if this is how I look. So, if you're one of my 4F babies, please double check you're still subscribed. Even if I'm still appearing in your newsfeed, there's a chance you may have been unsubscribed. I know this is a very different film to the sort of thing you normally see from me, but maybe you can use some of this for your Halloween inspiration later on this year. I was inspired when I saw the Nikkie tutorials film, because I'm aware how very different I look, how I can look absolutely fine. I can paint a smile on, I can pretend I'm okay, but inside, not so much. If this is your first time to my channel, my films are not always this depressing, I promise. I've got an awful lot of other films you can watch if you are wondering what my channel is usually like. Once you've watched those, it would be awesome if you would like to join the 4F family by hitting that subscribe button, turn it from red to grey, ringing the notification bell, saying yes however many times they ask you to say yes at the moment, and then hopefully you'll get told, I don't know, 1 in 4 films that I put up, maybe, if you're lucky. Right, my darlings, as ever, all that remains for me to say is you'll stay fabulous, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.